Okay. I think I've done all the rounds that I need to do to post notifications. My affiliate anniversary started today. Doing it through Saturday, I think is how it actually runs, technically. But I think it's really only, I mean, we'll just be counting it for today and tomorrow. Alright. There we go. Hey, Key. Thank you. It's funny that we share kind of a same timeline for that. Because it was your first one too, right? It's your first year as an affiliate. Yeah, so like we hit affiliate at kind of the same time. Well, I think technically I set my thing to the new year because I think it actually happened in December. But it like let me choose it and I was able to move it into January or something. I don't remember exactly how much wiggle room it gives you. So I managed to fix one of my issues that I was dealing with last night. So it's not perfect. I've also made some adjustments to the camera positioning. Also not perfect. But the gun is now animated. You can aim. I can pretty easily switch it to be a two-handed weapon if I want, like to, hold it more like that. There's an animation for that. It's not firing or anything yet. We don't have any of that done. But I was also trying to bring the camera in more, get us a little closer to the over-the-shoulder style camera that you have in those games. I think it still needs to kind of probably come down a bit and then back out a little bit more. But yeah, so the animation plays. There's no like drawing, like there's no animation for drawing it yet, but we've at least got that part. I do still need to get it where, because see right now when you actually equip, which I guess I could just not treat the weapons as equips. When you actually use an equipment slot, it removes it from the shortcuts. I don't know why it's doing that just yet, but it also then does not actually equip the gun. That's only done when you select the shortcut. So, whereas my idea was when you select the shortcut, it puts it in the equip slot, and then that's the slot that's bound to you. But I may stick with this and just not use weapons as an equip slot. There's already, like, the inventory currently has too many equip slots anyway. We won't have that many different pieces of gear. It's mostly going to be like for bag upgrades and like a body armor piece or something. Yeah, so that's huge progress. I've been dealing with that for like a week, trying to get that part of the visuals of the gun working. So finally got that figured out. After stream last night, I worked on it a little bit longer before I went to bed, just because it was bugging me. and I was able to finally get that worked up. But since you're here and we were talking about it during your stream yesterday, if you were still curious about that, the kind of the story behind that Hytale game. So Hytale, there was an article on it, but I've also kind of followed it a little bit. So basically, oops, hang on a second. Let me just make sure I get my information straight here. Yeah, so basically, the game is actually like, I think 15 years old. Where was it? 10 years old, maybe? Where is it here? It started... Yeah, so it started with Hypixel in 2015. It was based off of, I guess, maybe what they were doing in a Minecraft server that they had at the time. They wanted something more flexible because Minecraft is pretty rigid, especially from like a modding standpoint. And Riot somehow got involved. I don't actually know the details behind that. They later bought Hypixel. So then after almost a decade, they decided to cancel the project. I don't really think anybody publicly knows why. Other than, yeah, they had a blog post here in June that their bar kept rising and their ambitions grew more complex. They like rebooted the game engine and it still wasn't as far as long as they felt it needed to be. So they eventually killed it. And that would normally be where it all ends. But back in November, the co-founder of Hypixel, his name's Simon. Yeah. So I don't know 100% know this guy's story, but he's like independently wealthy for some reason. So basically, he was able to make a deal with Riot to buy the IP back, buy the studio back. And so they got it back, although they didn't know what state it was in. And then they rehired some developers and wanted to return back to their original like legacy version, which is why, broadly speaking, the version that they have out right now, that early access version, is like a 5-year-old build of the game that they kind of just cleaned up a little bit. And basically they've kind of been, my understanding is they've kind of been pretty upfront that like, if you're not comfortable with it being pretty buggy, you probably shouldn't buy it right now. This was more of, hey, this is for like the community that we've had around this thing the whole time, that are probably going to play this thing no matter what state it's in. Here's what we have. So almost more of a PR stunt probably than any true like launch. Although I do think they're doing like some valid like stress testing in a way. Yes, a 4+ year old build of the game, fixed core systems, that kind of thing. They just wanted to show off the potential for it. So there's also I think several different like modding communities that are planning to, that have previously modded for Minecraft, they're planning to move to that game because it's supposed to be more flexible and not so hard coded. There's a lot of stuff that's done kind of dumb in Minecraft. Um, let's see. Where is it? Minecraft Spider Vision? Is that what it's called? So, the spiders in Minecraft, right? I'm not gonna like put one up on screen or anything, but they have this weird thing where, for whatever reason, even though I don't know that there's a native reason why the player would ever see this, the spiders have a like customized camera view that uses multiple eyes. It's like there at all times, just like part of hard coded into the monster. Like why is this a thing? I think several of the monsters all have like custom shaders on their vision. Yeah, well, why is this a thing that exists? So I think that's a mod to like put it on a player, but and like so, and actually this is something that I have kind of done with some of the stuff I've set up so far. So like you have fire and poison as damage, right? But poison damage is just like fire damage with an effect changed from like a back-end perspective. So it's just like a visibly different fire damage. There's also, I think, for whatever reason, fire is also really weird in Minecraft, where like let's see. There's a video I watched on it. Where is it? Yeah, so fire is weird because it spreads through the air and even ignores some solid blocks. And then that's not it. There's also something about how like I'm trying to think of how they do it. There's something weird about like fire arrows. I couldn't find the document on, but there's a video I watched at one point. We got an ad break. You seem really into the music recently, although this is like, have you not noticed it before? I've never noticed you point it out in chat until last stream and this stream. You're just usually lurking. That is probably true. You usually kind of say hi, and that's about the extent of it half the time, I think. Okay, so... Yeah, the music is, sometimes I just keep it running even when I'm not live. There are times I completely don't even think to turn it off, especially if I sit here and keep working on stuff after a stream. Unless it like conflicts with something like whatever stream I rated into or whatever. I will usually keep it up and still keep it playing. There's like a couple tracks that I think I mentioned yesterday that I don't like care for. Not because they're bad, but they're not like casually listening songs. They're more like, well, one's more of an atmospheric song. The other one is annoying. I'll actually say that. So like this one, I think it's supposed to be for phonics. It's like spelled with letters and stuff. I think it's supposed to be like woozy, like feeling woozy, or maybe. Yeah, it's very like off-putting. Sounds like been drowned. Yeah, it does give like creepypasta vibe. And there's, I think, another one in here, but I don't remember what it's called to play it. The one I find, oh no, it might be this one. So this has got kind of the same vibe. But the one I find obnoxious that I want to skip like every time it plays is called Yar Music, and it's for like a pirate theme. This one drives me insane. It has, I think there's at least a couple cases where it has played during a time on stream when like a short was made that it was appropriate for, or something I was doing, and it is admittedly quite short, like it's already over, but it drives me insane. I think my favorite there's two, and I think my favorites would be, I like this one's called Avocado, which I actually don't know the reason for. I like this one. Yeah, this one's like a nice little calming one. Sometimes it's like the music has comedic timing. There's there have been a couple times where like something weird would happen, especially working on some of this stuff. Be like a bug or something, and I'd be, you know, actively confused on stream kind of thing, or working on a problem. And the music would be like have an appropriate sound to it, for like confusing. And so sometimes it's like this soundtrack has comedic timing. What I would like is to be able to use the One Man's Poison music for stream, but unfortunately, as of right now, we only have one track. I'm gonna pause that for a minute. We only have one track, and it's not even like a very like. It's kind of quiet. I've played it before a little bit. Starby made this, and this is still a rough version. It's not even the final version of it. But I would play, you know, the music for the game if we had more of it. Okay. That's that. That's overlay related stuff. There we go. Let's set. Do you know what you'll use this track for in the game yet, or are you just experimenting with sound? It's a little of column A, a little column B. I do actually know where it's going, because I did have a use for it in mind when I had it made. I gave like Starby a specific brief and some specific examples, because I do have like what I'm calling like a mood soundboard, or an audible mood board. It's by the loop. Let me go back over to this. So I gave Starby a very specific brief to work with, and in fact, the soundtrack, or that is the main theme of the game, which can be heard should be this one? No, it's not that one. It should be this one. Okay, I'm gonna pause music and turn on my desktop sound so that it play us through. So because that track, even though it's the rough track, is already in the game. You'll have to ignore the HUD being here. It's not supposed to be here right now. What? Hang on. Oh, wait. I opened the wrong map. It should be this guy. There we go. Yes, it is very. It is title screen appropriate because it is meant for the title screen, which is just a black background. Now I am planning for it to kind of do like a 3D environment in the background that either it's panning around or that it's fixed on, of like Jake's office. There's also plans, like this is the main menu theme and technically the main theme of the game, but I have told Starby one of the things I would like to do, and we might have some of the means to do it, might have made some connections that will allow us to do it, although I don't know what it'll end up costing, is to do like an intro. So I think back to how the very first time you launch Resident Evil 7, it plays the Aunt Rhody song with like an intro to it. Or it might be, no, sorry. The very first time you open it, you actually get like a black screen, if I remember correctly, with just like a plain text logo, and then it eventually plays that song after its like basic intro. I was getting it mixed up. So, but I want to do like a song. So what they did with that song is they took, with the Aunt Rhody song, is that's an old like folk song. I don't know if they've changed the lyrics at all, but it's an old folk song that's public domain that they did like a creepy recording of it. So I'd like to find one and make something around that. I've kind of given that as a task for Starby to figure out as well. And we have I have made some interesting connections recently, both specifically in relation to voice acting, but at least one of which has a singing career. But then what I've got right now on here is with the screen. It looks like I adjusted the way he grips the gun. I was doing some animations, so he's holding it sideways. But there'll be a pose, like a 3D model posed here, in different scenes for the different like story access stuff. And if I click that, it loads into the level that we're already in, just like that. So oh yeah, so I've not been secretive about one of them because I sort of made it known that I was going to try to contact them, and it was my actions that made that communication happen and started that conversation. But it also hasn't gone anywhere because I'm not ready to cast because I don't have the story finished, and I'm working on gameplay. I want it to play fun before I worry about those sort of polishy type things. But I have been in contact with Cottontail, as in the VTuber / singer who does voice acting, and the conversation has gone as far as for me to send her some stuff and say, hey, would you be interested in working on this, and me finding out what her rates are, and then her saying yes, that it sounded cool. But since she sings, that's a potential outlet for that. But since then, the universe will say, because it was random, the algorithm, the almighty algorithm, may it forever smile upon us, brought me to the attention of another voice actor, ironically also VTuber streamer person, that has professional voice acting experience. Like, I think most of Cotton's stuff is all like YouTube short, YouTube video kind of, or other type of video kind of content. Whereas this person is in like anime dubs and video games. I don't want to reveal that one. Well, no, I want to reveal that one. I don't know that I'm supposed to, but they are possibly going to help me actually cast the roles and voice direct the roles, because they have that experience as well, and I do not. So that's a huge one. And it was a simple matter of the algorithm showing some of my posts to them. I suddenly got a follow notification on Twitter that confused me. I checked and it was legitimate. And then the algorithm then showed me a post that they had made like within like 10 minutes of that notification about really wanting to be involved in a horror project. And I thought that it was like, either intentionally timed. Turned out it wasn't, but or that it was just an opportunity for me to like kind of jokingly plug. And it started an actual conversation. If you're really curious, because I know some people really, really like to know things, I will tell you privately who it is. I will not say it on public streams until I know that it's okay to do so. So, to be fair, I haven't been told that I'm supposed to be quiet about it. There's nothing official going on. But that's the other reason. There's nothing official going on. I don't want to make like commitments on anyone's part. Although I will say, in Cotton's case, it was 100% going to be if I could afford her. In this case, I made it clear I don't even know that what I have in terms of a budget, because it's all out of pocket. They just want to be involved. So as much as I want to make sure people get paid, that's not like their goal in this, which means as long as I make something and it's still cool to them, they are probably still involved, I assume. I assume the limiting factor, as I understood the conversation to be from that point, will just be if I have a very small budget, that's going to limit who we can cast out of their contacts. They have a wide range of contacts at various various levels. In fact, it could change how, you know, the cotton thing works out, because they know each other. So, you know, there's kind of that thing. There. Hang on. How many people were watching? Of course, it's gonna be Nevada if I say this. They're also married to a voice actor / VTuber. So that also probably narrows it down if you are in those circles at all. I don't think there's that many of them that are out there that are known to be married to one another. Because, like, both of their public personas are known. Unlike Cotton, they're not, like, anonymous behind their characters. So, I haven't told them this, but I'm kind of hoping we can get their husband interested too. Cause, like, I kind of think that he would be a good match for Jake. As far as an actor. Also, I think if I gave that news, because Starby's aware of what's going on. I've been telling Starby because of where Starby's involved. Starby's head might explode if we got that far with the whole thing. So, but that's been happening over the past, like, 3 or 4 months. It's been pretty crazy. Let's see. And if I do, let's see. Key, I am sending you a DM. And I need that. Okay, these are both Twitter profiles because I don't know. I mean, other than their VTuber, I don't know what other social media they have. The only personal profile that I know of theirs is their Twitter. But you can, like, just in the hashtags in the link there, you can probably tell some of the projects they've been involved in without knowing, like, the VTuber community. Oh, thank you for the follow. So yeah, that one is a secret. At least for now. But that one is pretty big because that means, like, from a promotional standpoint too, they've already offered to help, like, once it's playable and stuff and I'm ready to show it off, they've already offered to help get it in front of people. So that's like a huge boost, especially because, like, when it comes to games in general, marketing is, like, usually costs as much as the game does to develop. It's kind of insane. But if they have connections to help with that, that would be huge. Okay, so other than I don't really want the debug thing to be there all the time, which I can turn off. Where the hell did I put that? It's in here, I think. I think it's that one. Does it still show the HUD? Yes, it does. Alright. If that's the case... Well, first of all, to put this the way that's so that that's correct, I need this to be the Q key, not the O key. Otherwise, my screen is incorrect. Cool. Alright, so we need... Where the heck did I put it? I guess I just need to change how the HUD is on the main menu so that it doesn't show that debug screen on the main menu. I can fix that later, I suppose. Does this work? Right. Why are we in slow-mo? Oh yeah. So these are like overlays that I've got for different animation effects. So now that these are working, obviously this isn't how it would get triggered, but like we can play the character being injured, or like bound, rifle animation. This is the one-handed pistol, two-handed pistol. If we do a bow, I'm not planning to do a bow. I'm planning to do a crossbow, but this is just out of the placeholder animations I had. The door really wants to be open. So it's kind of a funny thing. Ultimately, made it mad. Ultimately, the way that's going to work is close out of this, is of course that you'll walk up to them and interact with them to open them. But right now, because my interaction stuff is not set up, they're just set up with these collision boxes that check for overlaps with the player, and then they open automatically. um, which normally is fine, but because of some of the stuff I'm checking with the player, where is it here? So, because of some of the stuff I'm checking with the player, they have a collision box because I have to like spawn the interaction icons when you get close. They have this collision box that's much larger than the actual player. Now, I can eventually work it out, one, where the doors don't open automatically, would help, but two, where they check different collision types to avoid this issue and have them specifically check on the player. But instead, what's happening is their collision box is overlapping with this collision box that's much larger than the player, so doors open before you ever reach them. A perfect example. In this case, we spawn in, we are right on that door, so it's already open at this state. No, never mind, it hasn't opened yet. But it only takes a few steps forward. But see, you also notice that icon appears when I get close. And that's because I'm using those hitboxes to spawn that icon. But the side effect of that is that, yeah, these doors all open up from way far away. But again, that's just because it's like a placeholder thing. So I do need to get the interaction system working. That's probably, now that I'm most of the way done with weapons, that's probably going to be next on my to-do list. I'm not completely done with the weapon system, of course, but like the problematic stuff that I was struggling with is the stuff that seems to sort of be done now. Effectively, I still need to make the weapon fire, of course, and like reload. But some of that is already programmed on the weapon side, so it should mostly be about getting the player to like do those things and have like the associated animations, more so than it will be about actually having to build those systems, because I kind of already built them when I was building those base weapon objects. And then from there, all I really have to do is I have a weapon table. I don't want to comment about it. I have a weapon table that is storing, or going to store, all the weapon data. Right now it's just the pistol. From that point on, if I just add weapons to that and then create a little spawnable object for each one, most weapons should just work. Doing the Bethesda "it just works" kind of Todd Howard thing. But that's sort of the case. I don't know what that weird refresh animation was all about just then. Let's see. I got... I mean, I kind of thought this one was already started, which is weird. I forgot I got a bug in that thing. It's not in the current dev version of the software, but the version I've got installed on my server does have this bug. Yeah, so I thought I was already working on this story. Oh wait, nope. Hang on. The start stop is the time tracker. But either way, this should be in progress because I am already doing it. Inventory UI, item data table, and pickup. Yeah, I'm also doing that one. I failed to update that. So, ow, pop my elbow. But yeah, so got kind of a list here that's still involved. I don't quite have any crafting stuff going, like combinables. But I do have to worry about this, like quick use stuff. The readables aren't in there, so that's going to be a part of it, certainly. Okay, so we need to get aiming going. Well, we got aiming going. We need to get shooting going. So this is going to be in our... We're also not entirely done with the aiming part. Look while you edit and vibe to the music. Alrighty. Enjoy your editing, and I will keep the music going for at least probably another hour at least. Let's see. This is the base character BP. I want... Yeah, this is the one I want. So... Camera behavior. Inherited from parents. Let's see. We've got an ad break starting in a moment. Da, 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 da. Da, da. Okay. Aiming. You on. Stop. Alright. I know I have this function. Stopped. Yeah, that's the function right there. Interesting. So I had this problem previously. It's like that's the function I'm trying to do this with. I need it to be out here. But oh, I sneeze. But how do I get the damn thing out of here? I can go to where it was declared, which is in the weapon component, one of the weapon components. Same, it's in the same place that this one's declared. It may just be easier to do it this way. Now, it actually might be in this parent. It's a weapon character player. Hmm. I should have... Excuse me. I should have that function. But I can't even find this one, the one I'm already using. Weapon character player components. Where it comes from. Maybe if I do this. It'll find it. Yeah, there we go. It's not a dispatch, is it? It might be a dispatch. It's a dispatch. But see, here's the wild thing. They are configured the same. Other than, it seemingly doesn't have that, because this is where we're trying to call it, is next to this one. I don't fully understand how that works. I can get that one, but not the other one. I don't understand. Hmm. Why can I reference the one dispatcher? Okay, out of curiosity. Okay, landed is fine. Hmm. I don't know. It kind of prevents me from adding in support for the other aiming mode. At least until I figure out why. It's just an events dispatcher, though. There's nothing crazy about them. Yeah, I don't... It requires specifically that I be able to call that function, but I can't, so... Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. They're created in the same spot. They're functionally identical. I don't know why one spawns and one does not. It's very unusual. Okay. Guess we'll... Okay. I didn't account for firing yet, so that should be fine. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. I guess I have to confirm whether or not that's even trying to fire. Okay, so that's the item. I lost my train of thought. See, I know that part's working. So weapon base. I've got in here an actual item. This is the item object. So this is the one I want to look at. I think. I am confused. I need that function to finish setting up the aiming. And or it's a dispatcher, more than it is a function. I need to hold that. I'm going to have to make adjustments to it. Why? My first inclination would be that I can't spawn it because it's already there. Or somewhere nearby, but that also doesn't track. So if I just tell that we can't equip it, that should resolve one issue because it won't be equipable anymore through the equipment slots. It'll just be on the item shortcuts. Yeah. Okay. So that can work. Examining still doesn't fucking work. Well, I mean, it kind of does, but it's also really kind of broken. So, I don't fully understand that situation. Well, I was gonna keep going for another half hour, but I've hit an impasse here, and I'm tired, so I'm actually not thinking clearly. Like, I'm over here trying to focus, and I keep zoning out and trying to power nap. So, I didn't sleep good. So, I want to be able to be well rested because I want to play video games tomorrow. So, I think I'm going to probably call it an early night. Wish that wasn't the case, but I can't. I've got a problem here and I can't focus on it. I'm so tired. So, I think should raid. I have a friend who does actually knows this person in real life, but they're doing a co-working art stream, so we're gonna raid her. This is a real life friend of mine, so let's be nice. We're doing an art co-working stream, so I am gonna go to bed. I am so tired. Did not sleep well. Good night, everybody.